Wow outfit like. I just got this through the post. I guess it's just the standard cover, Andy Kubert. So we'll see what like that is. And also I bought this today. See if you can see that. Dr. Dental it's called. I'm going to need to open up the back. I think something's rusted in there. I couldn't get it. Couldn't get the batteries. The connection with the battery wasn't quite right. It was kind of flashing. The screen was flashing. But I'll have a look and see what's wrong. But yeah, it was just an old school little game I thought was quite cool. Yeah, I got that. What I wanted to talk about was this. I've been sitting on this for a while. Not literally, obviously. It's Chris Ware's, I'm going to have to stand back, Building Stories. It came out, when did it come out? It's not that old. 2012. So he does, if you don't know Chris Ware, he does a self-published book. It's called the Acme Novelty Library. Struggling to find any of it. I think he's American, so maybe you guys in America will be faring easier. But one of the books in here is one of the Novelty Library volumes. I'm not sure what one, maybe 20 or something. But I think there was another book he did called Jimmy Corrigan, which I think was in that Acme Novelty Library thing. So anyway, this one's amazing. It comes in this huge box that's got text around the edges of it. And then inside, if you can see, it's just heaps and heaps of stuff. And the way I read it last time, I think, was smallest to biggest. But you can read it any way you want. I'll start showing some of this stuff because it's amazing. Yeah, I read it smallest to biggest and just kind of like, I had the lid and the bottom and kind of just transferred over the, you know, I think it took I think I read it over a couple of days. His work's amazing. It's like architecture in art, if you see what I mean. It's like, it's just ace. I think that's actually the Novelty Library one, although I might be wrong. Yeah, there's some great stuff in here. There's little books, like little. That one's quite thick. In fact, I think this is completely silent. This one, which he's good at doing. Obviously, I can't. This one's just one bit. Sorry, there we go. Double-sided, obviously. So there's quite a few of these little small pieces, which I mean is quite good. I mean, but you want to be at home reading those. You're not going to stick a few of those in your pocket and walk away, are you? They're just going to get knackered. And then there's a fair, you know, there's these like magazine style pieces. There's a few that have got. This is kind of like the main characters. This house, it's the Building Stories. I mean, it's like obviously a play on how you read it, because you can read any way you want, and also it's about the lives of the people in this one building over time, as well as you'll see what I mean. But there's some really, there's a little kind of these are like little interlude ones. This, well, I can't remember what his name is. He's a bee, obviously. Is he Branford? Yeah, Branford the bee. So he's still at the same house, but you see what I mean about the really stylized. But I mean, it's a good little interlude when you get a wee Branford one. This one was like, yeah, I mean, it's so amazing, man, and just it's so atmospheric. And you know, these guys' lives they're not superheroes, they're not, you know, it's just people's everyday lives, and the way it draws you in is unreal. I want to get to some of this really kind of graphic stuff. This one's got... This one's ace. So... Whoa! There's loads going on. And it's like like a game, like a Monopoly board or whatever. But on the back here is the floor plan of the building I was showing you. So there's each kind of top, third, first, basement level of each placey place. I think I've just done that entire thing upside down. So there you go. It's actually that way. That makes more sense now. There's the basement. Branford obviously it appears in the basement at one point, so it's cool. Yeah, this some ace stuff in here. This is another Branford one. Does he get a full page? I think he does. These are like broadsheet newspapers. Yeah, look at it. Look at it. I think this one I got was a second printing. I think it was about 35 when it came out. But I got this for a lot cheaper. And it was even down to as cheap as... I'm sure it was a tenner for a while on Amazon. So have a look. I actually bought this and then went to Blackpool with my wife, and there was one in bloody charity shop in Blackpool for £2. I couldn't believe it. It was a bit bumped up, but like the box was a bit kicked in, but for £2. So one of my mates ended up getting that. That was their... I want to show you... Yeah, this one. Some of these ones are a bit, like... They're loose inside the box. So... And this is just like a newspaper, so it has taken a bit of a hiding on the corners and stuff. And obviously newspapers, you don't really... You know, if you're reading a broadsheet, for whatever reason you'd be doing that, you don't mind them, like the corners all getting kicked in and everything, but this is you want to keep this nice. So, as nice as it is to be huge like this, it's a pain in the arse at the same time. Just because you're not wanting to damage it. Not one for reading on the bus, maybe. I just want to show you some of these huge art pieces that he's got in here. Because, I mean, these could go as cool posters, man. I mean, look at that. You get a frame for it and put it on your wall. What do you think, bud? Yeah. So, I mean, that's it. I think it's 13 pieces, 11 pieces, 14. There you go. I mean, even the back's awesome. Look. You get that overview again. Like I say, Chris Ware, he's done that Jimmy Corrigan. That's the only other thing I really know about. And like obviously the Acme thing, but I'm struggling to find any of it. Apparently Jimmy Corrigan's great. The only thing I remember was somebody moaning on Amazon about the printing of the paperback. It's the spine's glued as opposed to sewn, so because it's quite tomey, it's quite a girthy boy. The pages were snapping out on him, and that's the only thing I remember about the reviews. So it's kind of put me off buying it a little bit, but I'm sure I'll get it eventually. I'm not gonna go into like a bookstore, like a high street bookstore, and pay full price for it if I'm thinking it's just gonna all the pages are gonna start falling out. I'll get a second-hand one. Yeah, the hardback ones are all really nice. And like I say, every time you read this, if you pick up something, pick it up a different way. Like I said, I did smallest to largest. I'll maybe do largest to smallest next time I read it. And then, just free for all after that. So it's just, yeah man, there's 14 of these things in here. Really worth it. The only thing I can't quite figure out is how to put it all in here without these smaller ones getting bumped around by the bigger bits. But, whatever. Building Stories, have a look. I think it's been printed a good few times. It's probably still in print, so Amazon on that one. Cheers.